Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Micks, Mowers, and in this episode we're going to be taking the carburetor apart on the Makita disc saw. In the last video I've done the pull cord and found the fuel hose to be no good. Replace that, so I'm going to take the carburetor apart, strip it down. I suspect the gaskets are, the diaphragms had it is what I suspect, and I may even just pre-order some gaskets ahead of it just in case. I've had a look online and you can get the gaskets for around about £6.50, I think they are. A new carburetor is about £120 I'm seeing, and I'm not paying that. So without further ado, let's get down and dirty and let's check out this Makita disc saw, take the carburetor apart and saw is now taken apart, and I've got the carburetor down to the state it was before I put it back in. So I'm looking at it and it literally just looks like these two bolts here come off, and that should give me the carburetor, all bar cutter linkage. Yes mate? The carb itself looks really good, but I think it's quite well protected inside all that casing. So I'd be inclined to see what's going on with it. Now some of you may be saying don't take it all off, just undo these, but I want to get the carburetor out. I'm going to put it in the bath, I think. So I want to see what condition all the diaphragms are in, all that sort of stuff. That should lift out of there, go to one side. I've got one bolt. I don't lose any of this stuff if I can help it. That's got to sit in there. That's it. Now it's got to come out, so we get that bolt out. There's one bolt. There's another one here. That clip's going right in the way of it. So that's that one. The two bolts. I like to think that all comes out now. Yeah, it does. That's quite nice. So the Walbro badge goes at the bottom. I've got a little linkage here to remove. One on the other side's come off already. I've got a little tiny breather pipe there, and there's a carburetor. So happy so far. This is quite a complex sort of carburetor by the looks of it. It's quite a bit involved in here. Let's start by stripping it down. What do I want? A little tiny Phillips or flat-headed screwdriver to see what's going on. It is hot. Let's try that one for now. I could have tried tuning it, but I'm not convinced that the carburetor itself is clean, so because of fuel pipe. I've got a hole at the top here which helps keep it all intact. Oh. Wound screwdriver straight in there. Diaphragm looks really good. That's all going to come off in one go, which is nice to see. Oh, I see. So that actually sits inside that needle there. Not seen that before. This has got to come out. I can't afford for it not to come out, so I get a good purchase on it. There it goes. There's this spring. I'm not seeing anything as of yet that's causing me any problems. So diaphragm's quite good. Plenty of flex on it. Other side. Good, nice to hear the kids all playing out in the garden, not just here but next door as well. So that all goes together. Try and just keep this all documented. Those all them screws go together there. And this side here, I'm trying to get a purchase on that. That's got to come up. It does. That looks really good too. The Welch plug looks clean. Yeah. Yes, certainly. Sorry, we have a Wi-Fi child wants our Wi-Fi. Oh, this ain't going to come off, I know it ain't. But there's not a lot in there that would stop a lot going on. There's a bit of dirt in here. I would like to get that off. But I'm going to put it in the bath first, just to try and soften it up. I don't want to tear this. Nope, leave it. Got a Welch plug to remove out of there. This carburetor's not too bad, to be fair. I'm going to wind all these in and then document with how they come out. So the big one, oh, that was there. That's just over 3/4 of a turn. And the same with these. So the high, make sure you're recording so I can document it. Yeah, so the high one, I'm going to wind that in. One, just over 1.5, which is about standard for any sort of jet on the high. One, 1.5 again. So both running at 1.5 on the high and the slow running jets. And they may be different, these two. Yeah, they are different. So the slow running jet has a longer arm on it. This looks bent to me, but and we've got a little circlip here. Interesting, and that just holds that arm on there, I believe. So you can take that arm out. Yeah, that's all that's doing. So that's nothing to worry about. That's fine. Well, there's nothing else I can put in here or take it out of it. There's no other jets. Got to take the Welch plug out, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I've now removed the Welch plug, or some call it a filter. Everything else is now out as it should be. I'm now going to get hold of that and stick that straight into my, oh, excuse me, into my carb cleaner. Get a chance to clean. Carburetor's in, handles go on, lid goes on, power cord. Right, that's now had half an hour. Both sides, 15 minutes each side. As you see, that temperature has actually shot up. That's how warm it is in it. It is absolutely stifling in here. So I won't be in here much longer, I can guarantee you that.
That bit ain't no good, that's too small.
I've got Roy's the boy on live stream at the minute. Now, to be fair, the water actually isn't as murky as I would like, although there is some particles in the bottom. So let's have that out, give that a dry off. And we've also got the bit there I wanted cleaning up. That's them two done. So carburetor's now on a bench. It's red hot, absolutely red hot. Hasn't come up as clean as I would like. It looks a bit tarnished, but it is spotless in there. I can see all the way through the jets where I need to. So I'm not going to give that any more of a clean. That's going to stay as is. And I'm going to put this back together. Now you don't need to see me put this back together because you saw with me how I took it apart. So hopefully that'll suffice for you all. So if you want to know how to put it together, it's just a reverse of how I took it apart. So give us 5-10 minutes just to get this done and I'll come back. Alright, carburetor's now all back together. I've reset the fast running jets in and the idle. They've all been set as to what it was. I think it's 1.5 on these and just over 3/4 on this one. If I get it running, I might just try and reset these again, see if that was an issue. But I'm going to get the disc back on top now and fit it exactly as before. You'll be able to see it in the previous video. They're extremely fiddly, so I've no need for me to record it. I'll get it all back together, and just before I put the final bits on, I'll come back to you. Okay, one note to make is that this fuel line that actually sits in there on its own. So I'm wondering if I had that slightly loose and it wasn't forming a good seal, possibly. I don't think it was. It did sit down when I put the carburetor in, but so that just sits down all on its own and stays there. Okay, air box. The spark plug cylinder cover is on. All 3 bolts are in, and the wires are all now hooked back up. It wants to go that way a touch. Better. That sits on there. The earth is on. Throttle works. Choke all works once that's screwed down. So that's that. I can now bring in this one. And there's actually a filter on the back side of this. No, on the other one, on the grey one. I've got a spare coming for that, so hopefully this one will line up. This one I had problems with last time. Yeah, it's gone straight in this time. So if this doesn't work, then it's going to be either new carburetor or gaskets and diaphragms. I might try gasket and diaphragms on it. But hopefully it works. I'll try and tune the carburetor as well. I think you can get in to tune these, yeah, here. So that's that. And I've got the top cover, and so that's got a filter on it, but I've got new filters coming. There should be a filter in here as well, which is coming. So that all goes onto there. I should have the piece for that. Kids are absolutely loving this weather. Swimming pool city at my house at the moment. Right, that's all back on. Stop works, choke's working, throttle's working, everything as it should. So happy with that. All the fuel lines are back on and what have you, so let's try and get it done. Oops, sorry about that. The stall's on the camera. Let's try and get it a run. Let me clear a few tools out of the way first before I do it. Don't all vibrate all over the place. Good. And we'll see how we get on. I'm not really expecting it to do a lot more. I think it is actually a diaphragm issue on this, but we shall see. See what happens. So, a bit of choke, decompression. Choke's on, throttle's on, and let's see how we get on. forget there's no fuel up in the carburetor at the moment, so it takes some pulling through. Might have the same problem by the looks of it. I'll grab a screwdriver and try and tune that carburetor if I can. Try and open it up a touch. It should run on choke pretty well. Should be able to get in there relatively well with ease. So that's for low. I want the high is what I'm after. Need to make sure I'm locating that properly. Give us 2 ticks. So I should get good access to these carburetor adjustment screws on the back. Just want to try and do it first, try and let a bit more fuel in. Maybe it's not got enough fuel coming in, which could be a bit of an issue. To run. That's for certain. Doesn't like being opened up, I know that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put both screws in all the way tight, and I'm going to go 1 full turn and a half on both. Right, that's 1.5 each way. That should run on that. Not very well, but it should run. Do that up. It's just, I think it's just a carburetor problem. It also want a disc bottom to run it properly, so I'm guessing it's going to be new gaskets on here. But at least it's running. carburetor. So I'm looking to get a new carburetor or new gas diaphragms, whichever is cheapest, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the disc saw is now running. It's running a bit better than it was before, but it's still not running right at all, and I do suspect it to be that saggy diaphragm that is the cause of the issue. So what I'm going to do, I'll wait for these gaskets to turn up. When they turn up, I'll take the carburetor back off again, and I'll give it a manual clean this time as well with the air compressor. Fit the new gaskets in there, and hopefully that will cure the issue right out. I've also ordered some filters, so hopefully they'll be along very shortly. It's got a fuel filter, 2 air filters, a plastic screen of some description, and also a new spark plug as well in that set. And that set I think was £15 from Garden Hire Spares. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Micks Mowers. Unfortunately the disc saw will go into a part 3 because it's still not running right, and I'm just convinced it will run with the right piece of equipment inside it, but we will see. So thank you very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tap the old bell to give you a notification to say that I've released another video, and any comments you may have, positive or negative, you know where to stick them. But until next time, don't forget,